This show is proudly brought to you by Sea Rin Travels, Sea Rin Car Rentals, and Lanol Natural Honey.
It's another beautiful moment today on the Noble Show. And as you know, we bring you interviews that would inspire you and motivate you. Today on the show, we'll be talking to an amazing personality who's going to share a lot with us about leadership. The show is proudly brought to you by Sea Rin Travels and Sea Rin Car Rentals. So if you need anything in regards to your traveling, your ticketing, your visa, or whatever you need when you want to travel, you call Sea Rin Travels on 0264 623-091, 0264 623-091. Lanol Premium Honey. If you're looking for that pure natural honey in an amazing pack, it comes in a very beautiful pack. This is how it looks like, honey in a sachet. So you can call Lanol Premium Honey on 059-4021-283. If you want to be a distributor, if you want to be a wholesaler, whatever you want, you call the number 059-4021-283. Our guest has a lot to share with us today on the show. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back.
Are you planning a trip or you're going for a holiday with a lot of destinations all over the world? Just decide on where you want to go and Sea Rin Travels will take you there. We offer UAE visa, air ticketing, tour packages, hotel reservations, corporate travels, and many more. You can contact Sea Rin Travels on 0264 623-091 or 0302 408067. You can email Sea Rin Travels at c.rintravels@gmail.com. Sea Rin Travels. You pack, we plan.
Welcome back from the break. This is still the Noble Show, and today on the show we will be talking to Elder Boakye. He is a sales and marketing professional in various fields in the oil industry and in various industries, and so he has a lot of experience in leadership, over 20 years experience, and so he's going to share a lot with us today on the show. Welcome, Elder, to the show.
Thank you very much, Reverend Gabriel.
I usually don't like using my titles. So. Okay. You have gone through a lot as a leader with different experience. You've gone through a lot of training, learned a lot. How did it all start for you?
Okay, thank you very much. So I started my career with Nestle Ghana Limited. I was taken as a sales professional, a sales rep.
Okay.
And so I was taken to Kumasi to start my career as a sales rep, a district sales rep. And then, so I was there for about 3 years. And then we were in charge of all the salespeople who sell Maggi in the markets, the salespeople who go around to sell the Nestle products like Milo and all that. So I was there for 3 years, and then I was transferred to Koforidua. So when we were in Ashanti region, we were in charge of Ashanti region and Brahafo region. So we traveled quite a lot. And so I was moved to Eastern region, Koforidua, to take care of Volta and then Eastern region. So I was still there as a district sales rep with the boss and regional manager. And just some few years after that, the regional manager left, and so I was made the regional sales manager for Eastern and Volta region. So that's where my leadership journey actually began.
Okay. So when you got that leadership role to take that opportunity to work as a leader, how did it feel like? Did you feel it was a big challenge, or you were somehow scared to take the role? You were delighted to take the role. How was the feeling like?
I think it's the leadership. You are a leader wherever you work, and I've always held that view that you don't have to be the manager or the leader of a place before you start behaving like one. So right from the word go, even when I was a district sales rep, I behaved like a leader.
Okay.
Because the point is that when any leadership role opens up, they will look for people who are ready.
Okay.
So I prepared myself for the leadership role. So, and that's one of the mistakes people make. They think that when you are not the manager or the leader yet, you can behave in a way. No. Because when that day comes and there's an opportunity, they will look at people who are ready, people who have demonstrated they have leadership qualities, people who have shown that they have respect for people, people who are visionary, people who want to implement and get things done. I mean, when that time comes, it will be about the profiling of the people who are ready to take up that leadership role. So I had prepared myself, and so when that opportunity came, my management just put me there because they knew that I've demonstrated that I'm capable of taking up that leadership role. So for me, that is wherever you are, you're a leader, prepare yourself, get ready, so that when the opportunity comes, you'll not be bypassed. You'll be taken or chosen as a leader.
Okay. So throughout your 20 years experience, what is one mistake that you made that you sit back now and reflecting? Or like, if I had a chance, I would have corrected this thing.
Of course, I mean, as for the mistakes, I mean, it's part of the working environment or leadership, but I'm still trying to remember which mistake I made. I think one of the mistakes I remember I made was one of our marketing directors wanted to visit the region, and I felt that I needed more time to prepare me ready for him, and so I was not comfortable, and I tried to push back, and he had some very nasty words for me. And for me, I think that as a leader, you must be ready all the time. So I think that's one mistake that I made, that
They didn't prepare enough to receive him.
No, I thought I needed more time to prepare for his visit. And he felt that no, you must always be ready as a salesperson, a salesman, you must be ready to receive any visitor to your region. So you don't need any ample time to prepare.
Okay.
So and he has some very harsh words for me. And for me, I think that's one first lesson I learned about leadership. That as a leader, you should always be ready. I mean, if you're on top of your territory or on top of your game, you don't need a lot of time to prepare for the visit of a senior management member. So you must always be ready. So that was a lesson I learned, and since then, I always ensure that, I mean, everything was working, my team were working, my distributors and everybody was, I mean, on top of their game.
Okay.
So that's one big lesson I learned from them.
Okay, besides that, as a major lesson you learned, what is the other, and any other thing that you also learned from being a leader throughout these years?
One of the things I've learned as a leader is leadership is about your people. It's about people. And it's about getting your people to get a job done. So, particularly when I moved from a sales rep to the leadership role, it's completely different, because when you were a sales rep, it's all about yourself and what you want to achieve. But when you become a leader, it's about the team. How you can lead the team to achieve your objectives or your targets. So for me, that is what leadership is about. When you are at a lower role, it's about yourself. Everything is about yourself. But when you attain a leadership position or role, it's no more about yourself, it's about the team.
Okay.
And how you can lead and guide the team to achieve the group objectives.
Okay. So what is one challenging thing, about being a leader? What is one challenging moment you encountered?
I think working with people is very difficult, and in a team that you have people who are very cooperative, who are ready to take instructions. You also have people who sometimes want to be a bit of a rebel, in quotes. So managing the team dynamics can be very difficult when you have a lot of people with different personality traits and characters. But you need to have what we call emotional intelligence to be able to manage people. Because, for instance, when I took over the sales manager role, I realized that there were some people who have been there for a long time, who even started work before I joined the company. And so these are senior people who sometimes claim the impression they know it all. So if you're a young person, you take up that role, you need to be careful how you manage those people. Because if you try to lord your position on them, you will not have their cooperation. Yeah. And at the same time, if you also allow them to have their way, because they have been around for a long time, they may put impediments on the way of the rest of the team members. So you need to recognize them, make them feel good, make them feel part of the team, appreciate their contribution. For me, that's a starting point. Once you let them know that you are the leader, but you appreciate their contribution and their efforts, then you have a good working relationship. But if you try to rubbish them and think that now you are the leader, so you are the most sensible person in the company or in the office, you get it wrong. You have a lot of pushback from them. But recognizing their efforts and their contribution and respecting them for their experience over the years counts a lot, and that will help you to become a successful leader. You get all their support. So those were the challenges I faced, but I found a way out by just appreciating and celebrating their experience over the years and telling them that we have to do more as a team.
Okay, so how are you dealing with your subordinates that were rebellious? How were you dealing with them? Or how are you handling them?
Okay, so I think as a leader, you need to be fair and be firm. And so in times where you have to put in the right measures, you have to do that. And when you have to smile with them, you have to do that. So for those rebellious people, it's about having a difficult conversation with them and pointing out the good thing they are doing and the areas that they need to work out. Okay. So if there's anything that they were doing that was affecting the output of the entire team, they needed to shy away from that. And so those were some of the things. So for instance, I had to engage this person that some of his utterances were sometimes appalling and sometimes irritates people. So he needs to be mindful of his choice of words, especially when he's in public. Okay. And I think he took it in good faith. And you see, you need to let your people know that you are fair. How you handle them is very fair. And you need to earn their trust as well.
Okay.
You see, when you earn people's trust, they will open up to you. So that was also one of the techniques that I used. But you need to first of all conduct yourself well for you to earn their trust. Okay. Once they earn your trust, they will open up to you, and then they will be prepared to have any discussion with you.
Okay. We're still talking to Elder Boakye, and he's sharing a lot with us. I so far have learned that when you're a leader, you have to earn the trust of your people. You have to be prepared at all times. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the break. This is still the Noble Show, and I want to thank Lanelle Jewelry for my beautiful earrings and accessories. If you can follow them on Instagram, Lanelle Jewelry, and then if you also want to purchase high quality honey, naturally pure, straight from the bees, Lanelle Premium Honey has got you. See, Ryan Travels also is there to take care of all your traveling needs. Elder Boakye, you have been a good leader over the years. So from your point of view, what or who do you think a good leader is, or how would you describe a good leader?
Okay, so a good leader is somebody who has a vision and is taking his team somewhere. Okay. And so you must make sure that vision is clearly communicated to your followers or your direct reports. And then you rally everybody around, get them to buy into the vision, then they can give it the fuel it needs for you to achieve that vision. Okay. A good leader should have principles and values. Okay? And for me, in a lot of research that have been done, one thing that has come out clearly, and that being the number one key trait or quality a leader should have, is integrity.
Okay.
Your integrity is what will make you stand out. Your integrity is what will make you overcome in times of crisis, in times of difficulties. Because as a leader, you face a lot of ethical issues in your day-to-day affairs, but your integrity is what will make you stay afloat. And when you have integrity, your team members see it. You don't have to tell them, they have to see it by your actions. That's why it's always said that as a leader, you must walk your talk. You shouldn't say one thing and be doing the other thing. I remember when I was leaving one of the companies I worked with, anytime we ran promotions, we still have a lot of TVs and phones and all those things left. So when I was leaving and I was telling my people that integrity is the biggest asset you have as a leader. If you soil it, you soiled it forever.
Yeah.
So make sure your integrity is intact. Then one of my people said, boss, this thing that you are saying, I saw you do it. When we ran promos, the TVs, the phones and everything that are left, you never took even one of them. And you always ensured that we kept them in the office for other promotions. But in other places where I've worked, as soon as the promo is done, or the marketing manager carries everything home.
Oh.
So you don't have to say it, you have to show it. And let the people see it. The Bible says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely. So if you want to have a successful career as a leader, your integrity should be intact. You should invest and make sure your integrity is not tampered in any way.
Okay.
And for me, integrity is my number one leadership quality that I think every leader should have. Because if people lose trust in you, they cannot follow you. If people cannot trust you, they can't follow you. And so you cannot become a good leader. Integrity is number one.
Oh. Okay, in today's world, okay, there are a lot of leaders in various fields like church, parliament, people's career, or what have you. At home, there's a leader at home. So families and all of that. So what do you think that leaders of today, no matter where you find yourself, most leaders of today in the world, what do you think they lack?
I think a lot of leaders, currently we have a lot of leaders who are doing well in Ghana. I can see for the past 20 years I've been working, I've seen a lot of leaders emerging in Ghana, which is very positive and very good, because some of the multinationals were never making Ghanaians as MDs. And now today you have the likes of some of the banks having leaders, MDs who are Ghanaians, which is very positive. It means that we are improving, but there's a lot more that we have to do. And I think over the years, working with leaders in various fields, what I've observed is that a lot of our leaders need to work on their emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Emotional intelligence is how you're able to manage yourself, manage other people, manage social settings, manage your relationship with other people. What our leaders have failed to do over the years is they use sometimes divide and rule tactics. They have cronies, informants in the company, provided they have camps, they create thefts and all that.
Okay.
And whatever you do as a leader, people see it. You should be seen as somebody who is very fair and objective. You need to be firm and fair. But I think that's the challenge our people have. That where they need to be firm, if the person is his friend or his relative, he wants to play it soft. But if it's somebody who wants to play it hard, no. As a leader, your yes must be your no must be no. But that is one thing that, and I think also people also don't develop followers. Because when you are a leader, your success depends on your team. And a leader who is great is somebody that when you are not there, your team still excels. Okay, but when you are not there and your team struggle, it means that you are not done well to bring up your team. Because when you are not there, your team must even do better. And that was one of the principles that guided me, that when I'm not around, anytime I came back, I noticed that my team excelled and did better. And that is the mark of a good leader. You need to develop and bring up your team so that when you are not there, they can also excel. That's the mark of a good leader.
Yeah.
If you are not there, your team cannot perform. You are failed as a leader, and that's one of the things that I think our leaders of today lack. They need to work on. Must develop the next generation of followers who are going to take over from you, so that when you are not there, when they come, they should even do better. And some of our leaders also try to suppress and try to look down on their followers because they want to hold on to that position, and they don't want people who are below them to be seen to be doing well. So they try to suppress you, and they will not give you that room and flexibility to express or to excel. And I think it's one quality or one habit that the modern leaders should shy away from, because your followers must excel, and it's your responsibility as a leader to make sure you train and groom them to take over from you. So that idea that when I'm not there, everything comes and stands still, it's a mark of failure as a leader. When you are not there, your team should be seen to be performing. That is what brings you the credit and the glory.
Okay. So do you think everyone can be a leader? From your experience and what you've gone through, do you think everyone can be a leader?
This is a very tough question, but everyone can learn to become a leader. There are some people who have natural traits. They are natural leaders, and all they need is to learn a few things about leadership, and they just fly. But there are some people too who have to go through the mill to be able to learn the rudiments of leadership and become good leaders. So I believe that everyone can become a leader once you are prepared to learn. You have a teachable spirit, and you are prepared to learn the rudiments of leadership, and you apply yourself to learning, and then you also apply yourself to execution. And one of the things I forgot to mention is execution. We talk a lot, especially in this part of our world. We talk a lot and do very little. So I think that for me as a leader, one of the key qualities is about execution. I would rather prefer to have 3 major objectives and achieve them than to have 10 objectives and achieve none.
Okay.
And when it comes to that, that's all about it. You need to have 3 big things that, for instance, you want to do in a year, and make sure you rally all the resources and support around it to make sure you achieve it. There's no joy or pleasure in listing 20, 15 objectives, and then at the end of the day, you're unable to do much. So leadership is execution, is walking your talk and making things happen, not a talk shop or making a promise. It's about making things happen.
Okay. Before we get off the show, what will be your last words on the show?
So I want to encourage everyone that don't wait till you are made a leader or a manager before you start exhibiting leadership qualities. Whichever place you find yourself, you are a leader, start behaving like one, start conducting yourself like one, so that when the opportunity pops up, you'll be the one to be selected for that leadership role. And I also want to encourage everyone that leadership is about execution. Make sure you set out plans or objectives that will be executed. It should not be on paper. Execution. Enough of the talk shop. Let's make sure we execute flawlessly every plan or every target we set for ourselves. And finally, integrity. Integrity is not like tomatoes that you can go to Akomadan market to go and buy. Integrity is your biggest asset. Do everything you can to protect it, because that is what will keep you and take you to the heights of greatness.
Okay. Thank you so much, Elder, for coming to the show. It's an honor having you on my show.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, it's been an awesome time here today on the Noble Show with Elder Boakye. He has taught us a lot today about leadership. I hope you have learned something, because as always, I do learn something from the show. The show was proudly brought to you by Sea Rhine Travels, Sea Rhine Car Rentals, Lanel Premium Honey. I want to thank Lanel Jewelry for my accessories. Also, you can watch the show on www.thenobleshow.com, and also you can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, and you can also watch on YouTube The Noble Show. Thank you so much for sticking and staying with us. See you same time next week. My name is Gabrielle.